jag ska börja. Okay. Hello and welcome to No Hurry Poetry. This week we are here to talk about the theme of nature in Robert Frost as well as Thomas Tranströmer's poems.
Yes, well, to begin, in life there are many things that are inevitable, things that just simply can't be stopped or postponed. Nature and death are examples of this. Obviously, death is nothing you can stop, it's literally impossible, it's gonna come at some time.
Yes.
And nature, nature is a very powerful force in the world, and you can almost say that it has a mind of its own.
Yes, well, as you said, nature is a very powerful factor on the globe, ranging from natural disasters to natural phenomena.
Yeah.
And the theme is can be very clearly seen in poems by both Robert Frost and Thomas Tranströmer.
Right. Well, let's start our discussion today with the importance of nature and the poem by Robert Frost, "The Road Not Taken." Well, it's clearly seen that the speaker uses metaphor to connect his life to nature as well. He shows the importance of nature as his life is it's a very important thing, and it's a personal thing, which he connects to the nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Robert Frost does a really great job at showing the importance of life choices and how the different ways one's life can go depending on which path you take. So I just have a question. What do you think is the effect of the poem taking place in a forest?
Well, I think that just the connection that Robert Frost has towards nature and, well, obviously the forest has a big impact on the poem, as well, it shows how important nature is to himself, and well, it's seen in most of his poems, such as The Mending Wall and Directive, and a couple others as well. So yeah.
Well, now that you took it up, let's talk about Directive. I hate to state the obvious, but Directive is a very normal Robert Frost poem, so there's going to be some obvious connections to nature. In this case, the nature is more than just the setting of the poem's events. Here, Frost puts nature front and center, making it the most important theme. To highlight themes like the past, which he seems very concerned with, describing nature is also an easy way for the poet to mark the passage of time by showing the changes in the nature.
Yeah, I agree. This poem is very directed or focused, as to say, on nature, and also, as you brought up, the passing of time. And speaking of the passing of time, it's also something that is inevitable. Like, you can't pause time; it's impossible. And like, as time passes, memories, they tend to decay their details, and just like the details of a weathered graveyard, like he says in line 4 of the poem. And with the passage of time, many details, they get lost, and we remember a much more simplistic view of how the event actually happened. So yeah, we lose the major events after a while. They kind of like drift away.
Exactly. I mean, I can still remember what I did yesterday, but a year ago I have no idea what I did.
Yeah.
But let's continue to Mending Wall by Robert Frost. How do you think this poem has a connection to nature?
Well, I mean, the speaker describes the setting of the New England countryside, which is where Robert Frost is originally from. He tells us right from the beginning in the first three lines, something there is that doesn't love a wall, that sends the frozen ground swell under it and spills the upper boulders in the sun. Nature seems to be the bad guy here, who tries to destroy the wall or the fence. And as the poem unfolds, we learn how spring and all of its feverish weather and spirit of new life makes our speaker a bit mischievous. We see in this poem the sharp contrast between nature and man.
Yeah, right. But in this poem, he also talks about how good fences make good neighbors. And I think this shows kind of how, like, some people, they just generally need more space than others. And as the narrator in the poem, he kind of questions his neighbor's view to mend this wall. But as he gets like assured this answer, like good fences make good neighbors, then he realizes that that's just how some people are. They're just more close than others, and you can really just accept it and move on.
This is exactly like just personal space,
Yeah.
which you also see in Glänta by Thomas Tranström, where the trees in the forest that they're walking through, the trees that are open, that are more spread out, maybe have space between them, they have light that comes through, which the speaker describes as a guide for him.
Yeah.
But the trees that are closed, that are very tightly packed together, there's no light that comes through, so he has nowhere to go. He doesn't know where to go. This place has very little vegetation, maybe, and well, it's dead. So yeah, here also good fences make good neighbors. More space is better. So yeah.
Yeah, and here it's also seen that nature has a deeper meaning.
Yes, well, that's all we have time for today on No Hurry Poetry. Thank you to Axel and Elin for joining us today. And thank you for you guys watching. Bye.